Welcome to Nerds and Friends. Today we have Brendan and Lori O'Gara joining us. Very excited to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we're excited to dive into your books. I was checking out your website before this, and I love the website. There's so much to unpack there. You have so many books you've written, and I want to talk about your fantasy books, and I want to talk about the no BS Christianity, because that caught my eye, of course. And let's just have a conversation. Let's hear it.
All right, cool.
Awesome. Well, first, let's hear about your most recent book that you've published. We'll start there and we'll work our way from there.
Go ahead.
No.
Well, the most recent one is that one.
There you go. Okay, I was just being facetious.
Don't show the old cover.
But
that's the old cover.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're having a bit of a...
That's okay. That's a good problem to have when you have multiple covers.
So it's so much better now. But anyway, go ahead. Tell us.
I did that for my book too, where I updated the cover after I published, because my friend who's a graphic designer reached out to me and he was like, "So I'm sure your new book's great, but the cover you chose sucks. So let me make a better one for you." And I was like, "Okay."
Well, the name of the book is Traveler's Song. Okay, and
that's not the old cover. That's the correct cover.
This is the right cover.
Nice. I like it.
And it came from another book. Okay, I started out by writing a cookbook.
Oh.
Called Gadlin O'Hale's.
That's the old cover.
Nice.
Fantastic recipes from 7 kingdoms, taken from the greatest pubs, taverns, and inns.
I love it.
Now, I did this long before Wizards of the Coast came out with Dungeons and Dragons cooking their food, long before any other, game system or
Game of Thrones has their own cookbook now.
Really?
World of Warcraft has their own cookbook now. That was before all of that. Yeah.
This is real food. This is real food that you'll see. It's not like, Elven biscuits. It's not, Lembas bread or any of that stuff that you see in those Heroes Feast. No, this is real food that we eat, but it's done as though it was recipes found in my grandfather's attic that I took down and then translated into regular cooking terms. And inside here, I put the recipes, of course, and then to add more to it, I've added little stories about the group of guys who traveled around the countries and collected the food. And
that's awesome.
The book sold pretty good. It's not a New York's bestseller list or anything like that, but it sold pretty good. I would go to rented fairs and to just book fairs and book sale places. And after the 100th person came to me and said, "Hey, the food's good. What happened to these people? Tell me about these guys."
Yeah.
So then I was like, "Honey, you want to write a book?"
I was writing contemporary fiction. I had never written any fantasy before. So I was like, all right, cool, we'll give it a shot. So that's how Traveler's Song came to be.
That's so cool. That's such a great story.
So then we
took the travelers out of the cookbook and put them in
we took them out of this book and put them in this book.
That's so cool.
One of our characters shows up in most of our other books. Yeah. All the other fantasy books, this one character shows up because one of his abilities is his longevity.
Okay.
He can live a long time.
Well, he's cursed, so he doesn't have a choice much.
Cursed with immortality. I love that.
And I'm even toying with the idea of pulling him into my contemporary fiction just because he's such a cool character.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that would be really cool if we could pull him into there. So I'm thinking about that. But
that'd be a neat crossover just to connect all your stories like that.
We write, fantasy, but then I'm over here writing contemporary fiction, which is totally off of this. So
yeah. That's awesome. Well, tell me, how did you both get into writing? I want to hear how that interest started and how it came about.
Well, I've been writing forever, my whole life. And I guess.
Tell me.
Well, I was working on this one book for about 6 or 7 years, and I just wasn't really getting anywhere. And then he said, just write. So he would pour a glass of red wine. He said, give me 1,000 good words, and I just got it. I just got it done. I didn't have the support structure. I mean, I think writers need that. They need someone, even if it's a friend or whatever, motivating them, poking them with a stick, sit down and write.
You're not going to sleep tonight until I have 1,000 good words, not 1,000 crap words, not 15. But if you've got 1,500 words and we can weed that down to 1,000 good words, okay.
So I ended up putting that one out and sending it out, getting lots and lots of traditional publishers rejections because they don't think they can make money off of somebody that's unknown, Right. So we just decided just to start self-publishing and putting them out there. It's never been about how many books we sell or how much money we make. We just want to get our stories out there. So
yep. I'm the same way. All of my works are self-published and I love it. So that's so awesome.
Yeah, we give away probably twice as many books as we sell these days. We just give stuff away, because that's the point. We want to get our stories out there. So
yeah. Well, what are some of the values that you want to impart to the world with your stories?
Gosh, that's an interesting question.
For me, it's the juxtaposition. I love the idea of juxtapositions. Okay. Where you assume one thing is one way, but is actually something else.
Yes, I love that.
Where you're thinking that, and because of the reason for this for me is you should never really judge someone the first time you see them. Mm-hmm. Get to know them, have a conversation, talk. Don't just go, oh, I don't like that t-shirt, I don't like this guy.
Yeah. No, and I feel like as human beings, we have that tendency towards being so surface level and judgmental that really helping people to see past that is a really noble thing. So that's really awesome.
That's where I'm going with this.
That's so cool.
And the idea of a noble idea, in my opinion, is that we only have one life to live. And if we're willing to sacrifice that one life for someone else, then that is a noble cause.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
That happens in this book.
Oh, wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah. How about you, Lori?
Oh, well, the biggest thing with me is, along with kind of what he said about judgment, I can't stand judgmental people, but thinking that there's only one truth or one way to believe and think, and putting people in a box because, this is the one way to think. That's really the biggest thing for me. Honesty, respect, and, there's more than one way to get to truth. Truth is truth. It doesn't change, but there's more than one way to get there.
Yeah. No, well said. That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, tell me, so I want to know, what's the name of this character that has the longevity? I want to get to know them a little more.
Thanatos or Clacian Magni.
Nice.
Not Thanos.
No.
Thanatos.
Nice.
Or Clacian Magni.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And you come to know him as Morclacian.
Mm-hmm.
Morclacian. Okay. That's so cool.
Our cursed necromancer.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh,
necromancers, they're just healers with bad timing.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
I kind of like that one. That one, and here's the other one I really like. Necromancers. Go out and make your own friends.
Oh, that's awesome. I wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the for those listening out there, we have a lot of authors who listen on our podcast. Talk about that self-publishing process. I wanted to dive more into that. Yeah, let's hear more about how that's been for you and what tips you'd recommend to new authors starting out.
Well, the biggest thing is to be careful of the scams out there, because there's so many companies that say, oh, we'll publish your book for, $2,000, whatever. You don't need to do that. What we do spend money on is we pay a good editor, and we pay for our covers on our artwork, and
be careful about that, because
and even with the covers, the first one we first company, we hired a company, not individual artist, and we almost got pinged on a copyright issue because she used artwork that wasn't hers. Whoa. So you have to do your research on who you're hiring to, but that's where the bulk of our business expense goes. And marketing, we've hired a couple marketing firms to do some stuff for us, but it's not a impossible thing. It's a lot of work, because if you get traditionally published, you write the book, they have editors, they have copywriters, they have marketing, all that. When you do it yourself, you're all those things. Yep. So, and I didn't know beans about marketing or anything else. So the first 2 years was learning how are we going to get our name out there. And we do a lot of, pre-COVID, we did a lot of in-person events, and we would do weird places like game stores and coffee shops and shopping malls and wherever else, just to get out and meet people.
Friends of the library church meetings.
Right.
Oh, there you
Friends
go.
of library groups.
It was weird. We went to a Friends of the Library
meeting,
church meeting where we showed up, told them about our books. They bought everything we had brought with us.
Yeah.
Every person bought 1 or 2 copies of our books, and then they fed us.
Yeah,
that's the icing on the cake right there. That's awesome.
So thinking out of your normal, where you would go to market your books too, is a big thing.
Yeah, the social media has been big for me because I've published only during COVID. So I look forward to, I'm hoping later this year I might try to go to a Comic-Con or something and show off my books or something if those are in person, hopefully by August.
They just started recently. We have friends that do cons, and they just started recently. We have a big one. We're in Northwest Florida, so there's Pensacon in Pensacola. They just did in person again this year. But it's not just that, but go to your local coffee shop and hang out with your book stacked on the table and chat with people. We have bookmarks and books in our car all the time. We go to the grocery store, and he's a talker, so he'll start talking up our books, and then we're, hey, go to the car, we'll give you one, and then next thing you know, their friends are messaging us on Facebook and how do I buy your book. So it's just getting out there. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's really grassroots marketing right there. That's awesome. Yeah. That's the way to do it.
I've actually thought about buying a sandwich board, walking around on the main street, support local authors.
I mean, you'd get some sales out of it.
Copy the covers on there, and web address, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, all the social media handles on there.
Yeah. Hold on,
that's awesome. Well, I wanted to ask, what are with the stories you've written, what's the most challenging story you've written, or the most challenging story to tell for you of everything you've written?
My turn. Probably in my contemporary fiction, I have some pretty dark personal subjects in there. And I guess the most difficult part was knowing that my mother was going to read it. So that was kind of that was the scariest part.
For my part, I served in the United States Navy and the United States Army both.
That's awesome.
Saw battlefields, friends pass away, friends die in my arms. It's cathartic. It's helpful. It's
therapy.
Therapeutic.
Yeah.
So when I write some of these battle scenes, when I describe some of the cities, I am reliving in a sense my combat that I saw, that I was there during, and putting it on the landscape so that when the reader sees it, they're like, wow, how did he know that the earth would look like this? How did the smoke, when the guy ran and the pads of dirt came off the earth when he took a step, every time he was running and moving so fast. Those are the things that I try to put into your story so that you get a feeling, an essence of you're right there with them.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I got goosebumps as you're talking about that. That's intense. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I was an Army guy myself for a little while back in the day. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's awesome. Yeah. So I think bringing
big
what you know to
camera.
life. Oh yeah, look at that. You guys have much cooler stuff in the background than I do. I got to decorate more.
This is just stuff.
I love it. Do you guys play Dungeons and Dragons? It sounds like you have some knowledge of the.
No, never.
Warhammer
40K.
Ooh, 40K. Actually, that was the first game I ever played. Was Rogue Trader was the first tabletop I ever played.
See that where my finger's going?
Oh yeah.
Top corner.
Those are all 40K miniatures.
Nice.
That's the Thunderhawk ship. Yeah, and that's Tiamat on the table right here.
Nice.
So yeah, we
big gamer.
Game a little bit, yeah, here and there. That's awesome.
Here and there, I raise kids between gaming. So yeah,
ooh, you guys got a couple full-time jobs. It sounds like.
Yeah.
How many kids do we have?
6 total.
Whoa! Wow, that's a lot.
And how many grandkids do we have?
7.
Congratulations on a big family. That's awesome. That's really cool. What does I know for me, like when I get writer's block, going and playing, a tabletop really helps me just kind of, especially when I'm DMing, it forces me to be creative in a way that helps kind of unclog my writer's block. So I was wondering if you guys have had similar experiences.
Yeah. Well, that's all tabletop is collective storytelling. If you think about it, Yeah. We have a standing game night every Friday. So we're gaming every weekend. We have for, I don't know how many years, forever. So.
Well, yeah. Really, the standing game night on Fridays, all the gamers come over to the house. They come to my place. We sit down at our dinner table after the kids are cleared. And sometimes not. Sometimes they're like, what are y'all doing?
Some of our kids game too, so it just depends on what we're playing.
Oh, that's fun.
And it just depends on who's running what. Sometimes I'll run, sometimes one or two of the other guys will run. Sometimes I go, hey, when are you going to run something? When are you going to? And she never does. But when are you going to run something?
I'd rather play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play NDM, and it's good to do both. I think it's fun.
And sometimes you can, if you're stuck in a scene, you're trying to write a scene, you throw it in a game, just see how other people will work it through, and we tell them, hey, we're gonna use you as guinea pigs on this scene. We'll throw it out there. And
I've never not done that.
Sometimes it helps, Yeah,
it helps a lot. It does.
Yeah.
Worked out an entire combat in this book.
Oh, nice.
Through having the players here, fight this monster and show me how you do it.
That's awesome.
No, that won't work. Okay. So yeah,
that's a great way to do it. Yeah, no, Dungeons and Dragons has been so integral to my storytelling because I write primarily fantasy, and so that's helped me so much. It's just they go hand in hand so nicely. I've got my first book, Exile into Sand, is right here, and I painted that myself. So
cool.
yeah. And then my second book I just published. I'm actually waiting. The copy was supposed to come in the mail yesterday, but it'll be coming in. It's running late, so hopefully I'll get it today. My first paperbacks of Galgathor's Gambit is my second book, and those are the two I've published.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind sending us a link so that I could, pick up that first book that you've got.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah. And it's on Kindle Unlimited for free if you have that as well. So,
and we cross promote, so send us your links and stuff, and we'll throw you on our social media too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I'll put you on all of ours for the podcast and my personal social media. We'll get each other out there, which is great. So I love it. Authors helping authors. It's the best.
Support local authors.
Yes, we'll go stand on the street corner together. It'll be good. Cover both coasts. I'm in Los Angeles, so we'll do it. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, a fun question that I always enjoy asking is if the protagonist of your book had to go on a road trip with the main character from the last movie or TV show you watched or book you read, who would that be and how would it go down?
Ooh, you try that one.
Well, right now I'm on a Criminal Minds kick, and I've been binge watching that. So
nice.
I don't even know who that is.
You sent Hotchner out with your characters from We Will Get There or almost there?
Yeah, I have in my contemporary fiction series, I have a character that I tried to kill off in the first book, but I had so many people. Well, I was going to kill him off in the second book, but after the first book came out, everyone loved him, and he wasn't supposed to be that big a deal. He's a Tennessee cowboy land developer guy. He's just there to move my plot along, and they loved him. So if I threw him in a car with Hotchner from Criminal Minds, since that's what I've been watching recently, that would be an interesting thing. That would be really interesting because they find all the dead bodies together. So,
but it sounds like they do pretty good at solving the cases too, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
For me, it's got to be. If I took Morclasian and then put him, I'm finishing up rereading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Ooh.
So then if I take
Jules Verne, very nice.
This necromancer and put him with Captain Nemo.
That would be terrible. Because Morclasian does not like technology. He's an anti-technology person. He doesn't like it.
However, he could use Nemo's technology and abilities and knowledge to go up against Beckett, who is
the other
protagonist in the Traveler's Song series, the next Traveler's Song series. So, yeah, that's what we did.
That's awesome.
So Hotchner and Nemo.
Hotchner and Nemo. All right, now we're going to pitch that to ABC as a new sitcom. No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. What are some of your other passions you guys have besides writing and gaming? Do you have any other cool passions you'd like to talk about on the podcast?
We do. We don't have time for that.
Between kids and doing all that.
Well, and I'm a librarian too, so I have a full-time day job on top of but I'm still around books. I'm still talking books all day, so it still kind of all goes together for me. It's not like I'm really kind of doing the same stuff at home that I'm doing at work. So
yeah, that's awesome.
6 kids.
Well, luckily, not all of our 6 live at home anymore. Some of them grew up, so
that's good. That helps.
Yeah.
Collect dice.
Nice. Same
here.
I'm
a dice collector. I love dice.
Oh, I've got hundreds. I got way more than I need.
I'm not gonna tell you how many thousands of dice I have. I have a full-size toolbox.
A U.S.
from
General,
American Freight.
A U.S. General toolbox.
I have about 8,000 or so individual dice.
Mad respect. That is awesome.
Someone showed up to the game store last night where I was playing 40K, and she was talking to her husband. I don't know. I've got 80 sets of dice already. How many more do I need? And I looked at her and said, "You're gonna need to sit down." Her husband was like, "What? You're gonna need to sit down too." I pulled out this video of a U.S. General toolbox with all the drawers open, full, color coordinated, type coordinated, stone, gemstone, metal, polyplastic, decent. And showed them, and they're like, and by the way, she also has a big bag she carries around to game. These are just the ones that are in the box. They're like, "Oh my God." Yeah. I created a monster.
That's awesome. I love it. I love dice. They're so fun.
They are. Oh, speaking of.
I guess the only thing that rivals that is my Doctor Who collection. I'm a big Who fan. Yeah.
Check out the size of my.
Those are some solid D20s right there.
Sorry.
We had a guest on the podcast who had one that was like the size of a laundry hamper. It was like huge.
They're called Titans or something like that.
Yeah. I was like, how do you not break things in your apartment when you throw that around? Like, so
like
just throw it around.
Just for show, you know.
Yeah. But you got to play with them at least once, you know.
One of the guys that I bought dice from at Dragon Con told me when I bought this die, he said, "You're not flying home, are you?" I was like, "No, I'm driving." Good, because TSA will take this out of your baggage and say it's a bludgeoning device. I was like,
it's a metal 100. It's heavy.
Oh, it's 100. Yeah, I got metal D20s.
D100.
Whoa, nice.
They're like shot put balls or something.
Yeah, you can put those in a cannon and like wreck a battleship or something. That's awesome.
This is like 6 inches off the counter. You ready? No.
Oh,
They're
my
heavy.
goodness. That's brilliant. That's so fun.
I'm sorry for bragging about your toys.
It's okay. All right.
That's what toys are for, right?
That's right. That's what they're for.
I read on your website the Transpicuous Life there, and I thought that was really beautifully written. I just wanted to shout out that was really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I that's my pet project. I started with a book called Believe, and it's basically Christianity to the bare bones without all the crazy traditional things humans want to attach to it and stick on it.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 books out now. I've got a little prayer book and I've got a little devotional, a little prayer book out. But it's basically I took the bottom line of Christianity and just took all the other stuff off, and that comes from personal experiences of being stereotyped as a certain type of Christian. And I guess I write what I write, and I do write about things that Christians would say is not something a Christian girl should be writing about, but I write it anyway. So it's just
you've got a degree in.
I do, but it's just all the extra stuff that you don't need around it. I just took it off. So.
Yeah, I agree with you that humans have added that really can suck the life out of the pureness of it. So
well, and I tell people all the time, we have the Bible, we have religious texts, we have this much of the whole thing. We don't know what we lost. We don't know what was there before, what we're missing, or what we're going to find later. So to judge somebody on 2 verses that you think they shouldn't be doing this or that, first of all, it's none of your business. Second of all, you don't know if that's all there is,
Yeah, if more Christians had that just basic sensibility, the world would be such a better place. So I really respect that.
Right?
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, let me check real quick. I think we're just about we've answered all of our typical questions. I mean, we've talked about what impact and legacy you both want to have as writers, what jobs and activities help you as writers. We've covered all that. I guess the last thing I wanted to ask is about your writing routine. I know you mentioned the 1,000 nights or 1,000 words with a glass of red wine, but do you have any other helpful writing routines or tips for new writers that might be helpful?
Save absolutely everything. Every scrap of paper, every note, every Word document, everything you make, everything you write, save it, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yes.
In more than one.
Yes. If you write on the computer, back it up on. I have a box of thumb drives right here.
Oh,
that
smart.
is slap full. Everything's on here, and it's on the cloud, and it's on the computer, and it's on my laptop, and it's on paper.
Because we've gone to go format and publish and go, where did it go?
Or where's that chapter? Where's that thing? He lost an entire manuscript, a whole entire manuscript is gone. So we're having to pull it out of his brain so he can rewrite it. And it's devastating. But yeah,
that is devastating.
Back in the early days when we didn't know any better, so now we do. So save everything. And I guess the other bit of advice I would give is don't listen to people that say you can't do it. Don't, oh, you can't write that. You can't publish that. What are you doing? How are you going to feed your family? Whatever. Don't listen to that. Just do it. Whatever your art is, painting, writing, whatever it is, just do it.
Yep.
For you.
That's great advice.
A good thing right there is do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If money comes, great. You were one of the lucky guys and gals who did this, and somebody saw it, and it's.
Mm-hmm.
But do it for you. Don't do it for others. It's got to be your thing.
I agree. Like money's great, but when someone says, "Hey, I really resonated with that character, or that part of the book really stuck with me," that feeling right there is worth way more than all the money.
It is to me too.
Yeah.
Well, and I even like it when people read your book and say, "I really didn't like this character. I didn't like this part." Okay, that's okay. Keep reading or read the next one because you'll see why. And then they come back to say, "Oh, I get it now. I know why you did that character." That's good too.
I like that too. I don't really like one of the guys that has read my book that I know. He's like, "Okay, I like this character over here, but your main character, Mark Lacian, is a jackass." I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah, he can.
Thank you very much.
That's how I wrote him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you guys hear me? Oh, it froze there for a second.
Well, that just means it's time to go.
Time to go. But yeah. Well, this was a great podcast. Thank you so much. In the video description and the podcast description, I'll put links to your website and all your social media.
Okay.
Everyone listening, check out Brendan and Lori O'Gara's works. It was such a pleasure talking to you both. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you on again. Thanks so much.
Sure. Just send us an invite anytime.
Awesome. We'll
And
do.
Send us your links too, and we'll put them out on our stuff too.
Oh, thank you so much. Absolutely. Well, thank you. This has been Nerds and Friends. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.